Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat krupatamaham vande Paramananda madhavam Paramananda madhavam. Narada Bhakti Sutra begins with the definition of bhakti. Infinite love for infinite period of time for the Lord. This is how bhakti is defined in this text. What is the result of this devotion? The result is total fulfillment of life. How is this devotion different from ordinary worldly love? Sa na kamaya mana. This devotion is such that it makes a person desireless. He has to renounce all the desires. Nirodha rupatvat. What is this renunciation? Renunciation is of two types. One is the renunciation of all support system, which is called as ananyata, anyashrayanam tyagaha. Other than God, you are not supposed to depend on anything or anyone in life. This is called as ananyata. So all the support systems have to be renounced. And secondly, udasinata. Any other desire or pursuit other than devotion for God will have to be renounced. So every support system has to be renounced. Every desire other than God has to be renounced. So therefore, this supreme love is of the nature of renunciation. The supreme love is therefore of the nature of desirelessness for the world. So this much we have seen yesterday. Once a person is convinced, bhavatu nischedardhyat urdhvam shastra rakshanam. Once a person is convinced that yes, this is going to be my goal of life, let me dedicate my life for this purpose. Once you have come to this conviction, then what has to be done? Bhavatu shastra rakshanam. Be under the protection of the scriptures. Meaning, strictly follow the scriptural injunctions. Up to this, we have seen. Now, the next topic is, what are the expressions of devotion? What are the characteristics of devotion? When the devotion wells up in the heart, how does it express itself? So now we will chant the sutra number 15. Tallakshanani vachyante nanamata bhedat. Yes, now we will see the lakshana of that supreme devotion. Lakshana means characteristics. Lakshana means indications, expressions. So why this topic is taken up? Because nana mata bhedat, there are lots of opinion about how this devotion should express itself. There are different opinions by different acharyas. So therefore, this topic has to be discussed. So what are the different opinions? Now some few opinions are given about the expressions of devotion. So the first opinion is about Let us see verse number 16. Pujadishu anuragaha iti parasharyah. What is the opinion of Parasharya? Now, who is this Parasharya? Son of Parashara. Who is son of Parashara? Veda Vyāsa Rishi. So, what is his opinion? Pujadishu anuragaha. When devotion wells up in the heart, it expresses as anuraga, love for puja, etc. Deep love for doing puja of Bhagavān. This is an expression of devotion. Now that is true. We don't say it is wrong. Great Acharya Vyasa Rishi himself is telling. So what is the term here used? Devotion is of the nature of anuraga. Now this term is beautiful term. What do you mean anuraga? Anu means that which comes after. Raga means love. So the love which comes after, or to put it in another way, reciprocative love. So what is devotion? Devotion is reciprocative love. What do you mean reciprocative love? You experience Bhagavan's love towards you, and when you start experiencing his love towards you, you start loving him. This is called anuragaha. First, he loves you, you experience his love, and then as a result, as a consequence, you start loving him. In fact, this is a beautiful expression, beautiful definition of devotion itself. What is devotion? It is love. How did it spring up? When you start seeing that Bhagavan's love for you is infinite, for infinite period of time, you have no choice but to reciprocate that love, through love. Actually, this Parama Prema Rupa, Amrita Swarupa is also the same love which Bhagavan has towards the jivas. Devotees know it. How Bhagavan loves each and every being in this creation. All the creatures are his children. So how the mother and father love their children, in the same way. In fact, the love of father and mother has come from that Supreme Lord only. How much is Bhagavan's love towards us? It is infinite love. Whatever be the embodiment, not just human beings, whether it is insect, plant, bird, animal, Bhagavan's love is infinite. Constantly he is paying attention to each and every being in this cosmos. He is taking care of everyone. In the beginning, because our attention is extroverted, because our attention is outward, we are not able to experience this love. But when the attention turns inward, we come to know that this Bhagavan was waiting from beginningless time, waiting for the Jivatma to turn towards himself. Constant attention. As Saint Augustine has beautifully said, Bhagavan loves each and every one of us as though we are the only one in the entire cosmos. How a mother or a father will have tremendous amount of love for the only child. In the same way, Bhagavan loves each and every one of us as though we are the only child of that Bhagavan. Meaning, infinite love. So when you start seeing, when you start expressing that love of Bhagavan, how beautifully he is taking care of us. He has taken care of us. He is taking care when through different experiences of life, when we come to know that, slowly, we also start loving him. This love is called anuragaha. Anuragaha, the love which follows. The love which follows after experiencing his love towards us. Beautiful term, anuragaha. Now, I come to know that Bhagavan loves me so much. So then what will I do? I also want to love him. But what can I give? I can't give anything because everything belongs to him. But then there should be some mode, some way in which I should be able to express my love. So therefore, the method, the means adopted in our scriptures by the Mahatmas. What is the method? Puja. Bhagavān, I want to love you. I want to express my love for you. So let me play a game. So what is the game? I imagine that Bhagavān is in front of me. So I take a beautiful form of Bhagavān in front of me. And then I enact, like small children enacting various kinds of, In the same way, I consider Bhagavān in front. Now everything is imagination. You imagine Bhagavān is seated in front. You give a beautiful asana to Bhagavān. You wash his feet. You give water for him to drink because he has come all the way from Vaikuntha, Kailasa, etc. So he is tired. So you give him drink. Then you give him bath. And then you give him nice clothes to wear. Then you feed him. Naivedyam is given. And of course you put garland, etc. Then you entertain him by bhajan, stutis, etc. So now what is happening? You are spending time with Bhagavān. What is happening? You are expressing your love towards that Bhagavān. What is the understanding? Bhagavān loves me so much, so I should also do something in return. I should also express my devotion. So this is called as puja. So what kind of karma is it? It is kaika karma, more of physical action. So in this puja, so many things will be involved. There will be alankara, there will be naivedya and so many other things. And this devotee finds a tremendous amount of interest in doing puja of the Lord. So this is what is puja dishu anuragaha iti parasharyaha. So whenever that devotion comes, what happens? This devotee expresses his devotion as performing puja. But then is it necessary that devotion should express as puja only? No. So therefore, nana mata bhedat, difference of opinions are there. So then some other acharyas say, it is not necessary that a person should do puja only when there is devotion. So another acharya raised his hand, he expressed his opinion. What is his opinion? Verse number 17. Katha dishu iti gargaha. Now another acharya is Garga. Acharya Garga. What is his opinion? He said puja need not be always, not necessary. Now who is this Garga? Garga is the Kula Guru of Vasudeva family. He was the one who did the naming ceremony of Krishna and Balarama. So Garga Rishi. Now what is his opinion? Kathadishu anuragaha. When a person has tremendous amount of love for Bhagavān, he loves to listen katha of Bhagavān. This is also another expression. Yes. Not everybody may be interested in puja. There are people who are interested in listening to the glories of the Lord, listening to the kathas of the Lord. And that is one reason, and that's the main reason why all the Puranas are written. When we love Bhagavān, we love to listen the glories of Bhagavān. This is the nature of love. If you love your nation, you love to listen to the glories of the nation, isn't it? A mother loves her child, so she loves to hear the adventure of her child. This is the nature of love. When you love someone, you love to hear everything about that person. Everything in the sense, positive things. Right. So all the Puranas are nothing but glories of Bhagavān. His virtues are extolled, praised. Beautiful stories are there. Heart-melting stories are there. And that is the purpose also. So in satsang, you listen to it and you find such a great peace. In Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse giving the importance of this katha shravanam. It's a beautiful verse which says, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti te Bhurida jana Bhuvi Grunanti te Bhurida jana. Beautiful verse. What does it say, Bhagavān? Tava katha amritam. Your katha is like amrita, nectar, ambrosia. Why do you say that? Because when your katha is heard, tapta jivanam, it literally infuses life into the hearts of those people who are scorched in the forest fire of samsara. People who are struggling, suffering in this world. When they listen to these kathas, it is literally like infusing life. Tapta jivanam. Kavibhiriditam. And therefore the kavis, the wise people, they sing. Joyously they sing your kathas, your glories. And what happens when it is listened to? Kalmashapaham. All the impurities of the mind, they are washed away. Shravanamangalam. When we listen to it, Shravanamangalam, it brings auspiciousness in our hearts. What do you mean auspiciousness? Srimadaatatam, it brings peace. So whenever we listen to satsang after 1.5 hours, what is the state of our mind when we go away? That is called auspiciousness. It is a glory of Bhagavān. Whenever we listen to these Bhagavat Katha, mind becomes peaceful. That is the glory of his name. Srimadaatatam bhuvi grinanti te bhurida janaha. So Bhagavān, those people who spread your glories all over the world, they are indeed doing the greatest charity in this world. There are so many kinds of dhanam, annadanam, vastradhanam, etc. But this dhanam is the real dhanam because it gives peace of mind to people who are suffering in this world. So this is the verse actually sung by the Gopikas praising Bhagavān. So this is the glory of katha. When Sitā Mātā was suffering in that Ashoka Vana, all alone seated, she was very much miserable. Then Hanumānji does this. He sings the glory of Bhagavān, and it is said the moment she heard this glory, all her sufferings ran away. She found tremendous amount of peace. So this is the glory of katha. The more you have devotion for Bhagavān, the more you will be refreshed when you listen to this katha. So this is the opinion of Garga Rishi. Devotion for Bhagavān expresses itself as desire to listen more and more of Bhagavad Katha. It is also true. Okay, this is Garga Rishi. Is there any other Rishi? Yes, there is another Rishi also. Verse number 18. Ātma rati avirodhena iti Shāndilya. So another Rishi. Who is he? Shāndilya Rishi. He himself has written one Shāndilya Bhakti Sutra, but that is not as popular as Nārada Bhakti Sutra. So Shāndilya Rishi said, this devotion, ātma rati avirodhena. He said, fine, accepted. Some people express as puja, some people express as katha shravanam, different people have different interests, that's fine. But this central thing should not be missed. What is the central thing? Ātma rati. There should be revelling in the self. As long as this revelling in the self is not contradicted, avirodhena, till then everything is fine. How the desire for devotion expressed, that depends on person to person. Some may be interested in puja, some may be interested in chanting and bhajans and katha. Different expression may be there. But the central aspect of the expression of devotion is abidance in the self. What is it that which gives them joy? The source of joy should be abidance in the self. This is the expression of devotion. Because, now why is he making this statement? A person may be doing puja, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has devotion. Some people are interested in alankara. Some people are interested in naivedya. Nice, tasty prasadams are made. Different people have different kinds of interests, isn't it? It is not necessary that a person who likes puja really likes Bhagavān. Not necessary. Some people are more interested in clicking pictures and putting it in Facebook, etc. Different kind. So here, Shāndilya Rishi says, fine, puja is fine, but there should be this factor. Which factor? ātma rati. The joy which is born out of revelling in the self, that should be the source of joy when a person does puja or when a person listens to katha. In katha also it's not necessary that a person should have devotion. No. There are such wonderful stories. So this person is sitting to listen to the stories, or maybe some jokes, or the language of the speaker. There are so many different kinds of attraction, or poetry. It's not necessary that a person should have devotion just because he is interested in discourses. So therefore, what is Shāndilya Rishi saying? Fine, expressions can be different, but the central theme is the expression of devotion should contain this aspect of abidance in the self. Now this is the language of the head. How is devotion defined by head? The language of the head says abidance in the self is devotion. Swaswarupānusandhānam bhakti-rityabhidīyate. Bhagavān Shankaracharya says in Viveka Chudamani. What is bhakti? Swaswarupa anusandhanam. Meditating upon, contemplating upon one's own self is itself bhakti. It is right? Bhavashunya sat bhavasusthiti bhavana balat bhaktiruttama. Bhagavān Ramana Maharshi says, Bhaktiruttama, this is the supreme bhakti. Which one? Bhavashunya sadbhava susthitihi. Firm abidance in that sadbhava, in that self. So it is true. Devotion expresses as abidance in the self. Now this is the language of the head. Fine. Naraji, what is your opinion? Vyāsa Rishi told like this, Garga Rishi told like that, Shāndilya Rishi told like this. Fine, but what is your opinion? What have you concluded as far as devotion is concerned? So the next verse gives the opinion of Nāradaji himself. Verse number 19. Nāradastu tat arpita akhila acharata tad vismarane paramavyakulata iti. Yes. So what is the definition of bhakti as far as Nāradaji is concerned? Nāradastu tat arpita akhila acharata. All our actions should be such that we should offer it unto Bhagavān. This is an expression of devotion. A devotee expresses all, rather offers all his actions unto Bhagavān. Okay. Now he tells a very beautiful thing. What is it? Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. What is the proof that there is devotion in the heart of a devotee? What is the sure sign? The sure sign is when he forgets Bhagavān, he becomes miserable. So here is a devotee who has offered his entire life, all his action unto Bhagavān. Tad arpita akhila acharata. He performs all his actions to please the Lord. That is the meaning. Whatever actions I do it to please the Lord. This is the meaning of Tad arpita akhila acharata. All actions are performed in order to please God. That is okay. But what is the true sign of devotion? True sign of devotion is Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Put in another words, when you forget Bhagavān, how much do you miss him? In his absence, how much do you miss Bhagavān? Now this is a standard for every love, not just divine love, for worldly love also this is the standard. How do I know that I love a person? In the absence of that person, how much do I miss him or her? Isn't it? This is the standard. Suppose I don't miss that person at all, then there is no love there. That's why they say, I miss you. Then the other person also feels very nice. So when you say, I miss you, that means you are an important person in my life. I really love you, isn't it? When the absence of a person makes it felt, makes you miserable, then that means you love that person. See how beautifully that definition is given. So this question we have to ask ourselves. Do we miss Bhagavān? When we don't do our prayers, our meditation, our morning puja, etc., do we miss it? Ask yourself. There are some days when you have to miss because of so many worldly reasons. So when you miss your puja, your prayer, your meditation, do you miss it? If you are missing it, you can congratulate yourself. Now the question is, how much do you miss it? To the extent you miss, to that extent you have love. Every day if you are doing it, you will miss it badly. So therefore what happens? You will not miss it. Because you know, if I don't do this, I am going to be miserable throughout my day. So therefore I will have to do. If I don't do it, there is parama vyakulata. Extreme misery, like the fish out of water. Now we are talking of parama prema, so vyakulata also should be parama vyakulata. Greater the prema, greater the vyakulata. Isn't it? Like the fish out of water. That's the best example. Fish out of water. Can't even stand even for a moment without water. That's called as parama vyakulata. In all these devotees' lives we see this. And that is the reason why they are able to chant the name of the Lord throughout the day also. Because when they don't chant it, they become miserable. There's a great saint called Sant Haridās. Actually, he was a Muslim. He was born in a Muslim family. But somehow he took the interest. He developed tremendous interest in chanting Bhagwan's name as Hari. So he started chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He would chant. And now he is a Muslim family. So naturally all the clergies or priests or whatever, mullahs, etc., they said, what are you doing? You are born in a Muslim family and you are chanting Hari's name. The matter went to the higher. So the higher mullah or whatever, he said, this is not allowed, you have to change. He said, what is there? It is Bhagwan's name, any name is fine. They said, no, you'll have to pay the price for it. He was not ready to listen because he had developed such interest, and when he would chant, people would just gather because with so much of involvement, so much of love, he used to chant Bhagwan's name. Punishment was decided. What is the punishment? In 25 different places, marketplaces, he will be tied in the public place and he will be lashed 100 times in every place. Normally, nobody would survive that. 100 lashes and in 25 different places. He is sure to die. Every lash is such, So this was started. The guards were called. He was tied in the marketplace publicly and lashing was given. The skin itself comes out. The guards who were beating, their hearts melted. Looking at this person, and he is going through everything and he is chanting. So one guard said, Arey, why don't you stop it? Stop this chanting, then you will be free from all this misery. You know what Haridās said? He said, the pain which I will incur when I don't chant is much, much more than the pain which you are inflicting me through the lash. You understand? The pain of not chanting Bhagwan's name is greater than the pain of these lashes. So I don't mind, you keep on beating. I will keep on chanting. And the story goes that all the 25 places he was lashed, he remained alive, and these guards, they started worrying, because the instruction was, if he is alive, then you will be killed. These guards were trembling with fear, and this Haridās, he absorbed in his mind in Bhagavān and became unconscious. He went into samadhi, and they thought he is dead. The body was thrown into Ganges. But later on again that body came up in some other shore. And all these, the Muslim authorities, it is said, they came and fell at his feet. The point is this. What is the point? Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. As this love for Bhagavān increases day by day, slowly a stage comes when forgetfulness becomes pain. The same thing had happened with Arjan Dev also, Sikh Guru. He had taken some statements from Quran, he had included in that Granth Sahib. So at that time I think Aurangzeb was the king. This information was given to him that he has put some of the statements from Quran into Granth Sahib. He was asked to remove it. He said, no. Whatever I have written in the moments of divine inspiration. I am only an instrument. Somebody else has written through me. So I have no right to erase it off. Again the warning was given. You will have to face the consequence. He said, any consequence, I am ready. He was caught, and then torturing began almost for 5 days. First day, no food, no drink, no sleep. He was not allowed to sleep also. Second day, he was made to sit in a vessel filled with water. He was made to sit inside, and the water was taken to the boiling point. He didn't budge. Next day, burning sand was poured onto him. He didn't budge. And the next day, he was made to sit on a hot iron sheet, red hot iron sheet. He was made to sit on it. He didn't budge. And fifth day, he was taken to that ice cold water of Ravi Nadi. And at that time, it said, Arjan Singh was saying, Bhagavān, your name is so sweet. Constantly Arjan Dev was chanting Bhagavān's name. If you want to know the real sweetness of Bhagavān's name, we should be surrounded by tragedies. Just like the brilliance of stars can be appreciated only when the sky is dark. Otherwise you will never know that there is. Stars are always there, but it is seen only when the sky is dark. In the same way, Bhagavān's name becomes sweeter and sweeter amidst the worldly tragedies and calamities. So this is 100% true. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Especially, greater the devotee you are, greater you will miss Bhagavān when you forget him. In Sundarkand, there is a description of Sitā Mātā's condition. In that Ashoka Vatika, she was somehow trying to finish her life. That is when Hanumānji was sitting there, he was seeing all this. So when Ravana came and threatened her that within 1 month, if you don't agree to become my wife, I will kill you. And then he goes away. Sitā Mātā became miserable. And she thought, I should finish my life. Somehow I should burn off this body. What a tragedy that I am listening to all this and still I am alive. And then she requests that Trijata, Amma, get me some fire. Let me burn myself into ashes. I don't want to exist without Bhagavān. Trijata goes away. Then she looks around. The stars, when she sees only fire there. Then she requests, oh star, why don't you give me some fire so that I can put an end to my life? Then she sees moon. In moon also she sees fire only. Wherever there is light, she sees fire. Then finally she sees the leaf of this Ashoka tree. New leaf, tender leaf. That is also of the golden color. And she says, oh leaf, why don't you give a little fire from you? The point is this. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. If suppose we say, Swamiji, as far as I am concerned, no Vyakulata only, even when I don't chant. What does it mean? It simply means there is no love, or rather that devotion is very, very mild. So what we have to do as devotee, let us develop it. Vyakulata is a very good sign. In fact, it is a sign that there is truly devotion in our heart. A very good standard of measurement of our devotion. How much do we miss Bhagavān? Worldly people, they never miss only. But as you become spiritual, as you start doing sadhana, slowly, this addiction comes, is a positive addiction. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Now see the definition given by Nāradaji. Nāradaji is not interested whether you are doing puja or katha or this or that. No! The point is this, how much do you miss Bhagavan? To that extent you love. This is the expression of love. This is the proof that you truly love Bhagavan. So this is the lakshana of bhakti. Now see the next verse. So this is the conclusion. Next verse, verse number 20. Asti evam evam. Let it be exactly as described above. Asti evam. This is the way. This is the lakshana of bhakti. We are not interested whether you are doing puja, katha or this or that. No, we are interested only one thing. How much do you miss Bhagavan? Tad vismarane paramavyakulta. Does it happen? Fine, good. Lakshana of bhakti. Nāradaji, can you give an example of such a great devotee of Bhagavan? That paramavyakulta, where it is seen. Can you give an example? Why not? So the example is given in the next sutra, verse number 21. Yatha vrajagopikanam. So who is the example here? Like the vrajagopikas, the gopikas of Vraja, the devotion which they had for the Lord, that is considered to be the standard, the highest, the ideal standard. So now we have to understand how much did these gopikas love Bhagavan. Bhagavan himself praises the greatness of gopikas in Bhagavata. So this happens when Uddhava was sent to Vraja. So Bhagavan said, Uddhava was a very close friend of Bhagavan. So he said, Uddhava, you should go there, and there are these gopikas. My father and mother, of course, they are there. You should comfort them, because it's long that I have come from there. Bhagavan is in Mathura. So therefore you should console them, and there are these gopikas. Now see how Bhagavan is describing these gopikas. Taman manaskamat pranah madarte tyakta daihikaah mameva daitam preshtham atmanam manasagataah. See how Bhagavan is describing the love of gopikas for him. Taman manaska. Their minds are absorbed in me. Mat pranaha. I am their very life breath. How much do you love your breath? See, even when you get suffocated, what happens? Even for 1 minute we can't live without our prana, isn't it? As far as gopikas are concerned, I am their very life breath. How we feel suffocated without breathing. In the same way, the case of these gopikas also. Madarte tyakta daihikaha. For my sake, they have abandoned all the very needs of the body itself. As far as we are concerned, what is the primary importance in our life? Needs of the body, isn't it? Hunger, thirst, etc. These gopikas are such, they have totally forgotten even the very needs of their body. Mameva daitam preshtham atmanam manasagataha. These gopikas, they consider me as their very self, and therefore they have supreme love for me. So this is how Bhagavan himself is, praising these gopikas. Now there is a beautiful story of how much these gopikas loved Bhagavan. So one day Narji was going to Vrindavan. On the way, he saw one gopika. What was she doing? She was sitting and meditating. So Narji went near her and said, "Are you meditating on Krishna?" So then she said, "No. In fact, I am trying to do the reverse. I am getting rid of this Krishna from my mind. I am trying my best. I am not meditating to bring Krishna into my mind. I am trying to get rid of him. Because this fellow is not allowing me to do anything in life. When I go to milk the cow, this fellow comes, doesn't allow me to do my work. When I go to carry this, water, he won't allow me. When I pound the grain, he won't allow. I am not able to do anything. If I want to churn the milk, he won't allow. He would come and interrupt all the time. So all the time he is there troubling me. So therefore now I am going to meditate. Doing what? I am trying to forcefully bring samsara, the world, into my mind so that I can get rid of him. But I am not able to do it. All my efforts are going in waste. Naradji was stunned. And then there is a beautiful verse, he says, Pratyahritya munikshanam vishayato yasmin manodhitsate baleyam vishayeshu dhitsati tataha pratyaharanti manaha yasya sfurtilavaya hanta hridaye yogi samutkanthate mugdheyam kila tasya pasya hridayat nishkranti makangshati. Naradji did prostration to her. He said, all the great munis, they struggle. What is the struggle? To withdraw their mind from the sense objects, from the world, and to fix it in that Bhagavān. They struggle day after day. Day and night they struggle. Year after year they struggle. And even if they get it for a few seconds or few moments, they consider it to be a great achievement. And here is this lady whose mind is always absorbed in Bhagavān, and she is trying to get rid of Bhagavān. Naradji does prostration to these gopi. The point is this: the amount of love which these gopikas had for Bhagavān. That's considered to be the ideal standard. Now this Uddhava, he goes there, and when he sees the love of these gopis, in fact Bhagavān wanted to teach Uddhava a lesson, that there are greater lovers also. Very many people were humbled when they came in contact with the gopis. When Uddhava was coming back, he gives a prayer. You know what that prayer is? Asamaho charanarenu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam yadustyajam swajanamarya patham chahitva bhejurmukunda padavim shrutibhir vimrugyam. This is the prayer of Uddhava when he was coming back. What does he say? Bhagavān, I sincerely pray, please bless me this way. Which way? Bhagavān, make me a creeper or a grass in Vrindavana. Uddhava, why do you want to become a creeper or a grass in Vrindavana? Bhagavān, because this creeper, this grass, they constantly come in contact with the dust particles of Vrindavana. What is so great about these dust particles of Vrindavana? These dust particles have come in contact with the feet of these gopis. What is so great about these gopis? Ya dustyajam swajanam aryapatham chahitva. The greatness of these gopis is that normally the ladies are very much attached to their family members. Attachment is there in their blood. But these gopis, Swajanam, one's own relatives, they gave up all of them without even worrying about what the world will talk about them. Aryapatham chahitva, not bothering about what the society will talk about them. they left everything. And what did they do? They worshipped Mukunda, Bhagwan's lotus feet. This is the greatness of these gopis. Without bothering about anything or anyone, they left everyone and they fixed their mind at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Such is the glory of these gopis. So therefore, Bhagwan, bless me that I may become a creeper or a grass which is constantly contacting the dust particle in Vrindavana. And what is the greatness of these dust particles? They have come in contact with the feet of these gopis who have forgotten themselves in the love for Bhagwan. So that is why Naradji is taking the example of these gopikas. Yatha vraja gopikanam. Because that tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. That was very clearly seen in the case of gopis. Yatha vraja gopikanam. Now somebody may say, no, their love was impure. What is this? You are married to a person, you have a husband, and then you think of somebody else. Krishna was very handsome and this and that, etc. And then your mind is carried away by that somebody. So very many people have this doubt in their mind that that love cannot be called perfect. It is an impure love. So that aspect also is taken by Nārada Rishi. What does he say? See verse number 22. Tatrapi na mahatmya jnana vismriti apavadaha. Tatrapi, in that love also, in that gopis love for Bhagavan, that blemish apavada was not there. Na tatrapi, in that. What is that blemish? Mahatmya jnana vismriti apavadaha. Even when the gopis loved Bhagavan, they knew that this is Bhagavan. It was not some attraction, sensual attraction to a handsome person. No. These gopis, when they loved Krishna, they knew who this Krishna was. So therefore, this love is divine love. There's a beautiful verse again in Bhagavatam which says that gopikas knew this truth. Nakhalu gopika nandano bhavan akhila dehinam antaratma drak vikhana sarthito vishwaguptaye sakha udeivan satvatam kule. So gopikas are telling Bhagavan. What do they say? Bhagavan, we know who you are. Nakhalu gopika nandano bhavan. Bhagavan, we know that you are not that Gopika Nandana, the son of a Gopika. No. Then who are you? Akhila dehinam antaratma drak. See how clear they are. Who is this Bhagavan? Akhila dehinam antaratma drak. You are the very inner self of all beings. You are the very witness, drak, the witnessing consciousness in each and every being. This we know. Vikhana sarthito vishwaguptaye sakha udeivan satvatam kule. Because all these devatas and brahmajis requested you to take a form, to take an avatar, dharma samsthapanarthaya, and therefore you have taken this form. We know it. And therefore you are born in this Yadava Kula. We know everything. You are therefore the Supreme Lord who has taken a form, who has taken an avatar, and who is doing all these leelas. So this verse clearly says that this love which gopikas had towards Bhagavan, towards this Krishna form, it was not some carnal love, sensuous love, some worldly love. No, it was divine love only. Tatrapi na mahatmya jnana vismriti. Vismriti means forgetfulness. Of what? Mahatmya jnana, who this person is. Very many people at that time never knew who this Krishna was. Avajananti ma mudhaha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajanantaha mama bhuta maheshwaram. Bhagavān himself says in Bhagavad Gita. These mudhas, these fools don't know who I am. Avajananti ma mudhaha manushim tanumashritam. I am the supreme Lord of this universe who has come in this human form. Param bhavam ajanantaha. They don't know my higher nature. What is my higher nature? Param bhavam ajanantaha mama bhuta maheshwaram. I am the Lord of all beings. They don't know. And therefore they ignore me, they disregard me, they disrespect me, they don't value me at all. This was the complaint of Bhagavān. But as far as the gopis were concerned, they knew who this person was. And that is why the gopis' love was extremely pure. Namahatmya jnana vismriti apavadaha. Suppose they had not known this, then verse number 23, tadvihinam jaranamiva. If suppose these gopis had not known that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, tadvihinam, without that knowledge, that mahatmya jnana vihinam, if that knowledge were not there, then this love can never be called pure love. It is jaranamiva. It can be called as a secret love of a paramour. So here is a married person, and this person is having some, illicit relationship with somebody else. It is called as jaranamiva. You are married to somebody and then you have relationship with somebody else. Then that love is called impure love. If gopis had not had this knowledge, then that relationship, that love can never be called pure. Right? So this understanding has to be there. So that is why this gopis' love was considered to be the highest. Now, what is the difference between this worldly love and divine love? Another aspect of this difference is beautifully given in the next verse. Verse number 24. Nasti eva tasminstat sukha sukhitvam. Yes. How do we know that gopis' love were pure? This is the test of any kind of love. Whether that love is pure love, higher love, or whether that love is inferior love, impure love. What is the test of love? This is the test. What is the test? Tat sukha sukhitvam. A beautiful term. What is the proof of superior love? The proof of superior love is tat sukha sukhitvam. When my beloved is happy, I am happy. This is the test of purity of love. What is impure love? I am not interested in my beloved's happiness. I am interested only in my happiness. It is always selfish love. Selfish love is impure love. Selfless love is pure love. What about this love which gopis had? Nasti eva tasmin. In that, tat sukha sukhitvam. As far as this love of a jaranamiva, that was the previous verse. As far as in the love of a paramour is concerned, that tat sukha sukhitvam is not there. As far as the illicit love is concerned, this selfless love is not there. It is only selfish love. For example, love of a prostitute for her customer. What is that love? I am getting money, therefore she shows love. Whatever the other person, that other person is coming because he is getting pleasure. This is called selfish love. What is the sign of selfless love? In selfless love, you are not bothered about your happiness, you are bothered about the happiness of the other person. So whenever such love is seen in the society, we don't use the term love, we call it bhakti. Wherever the love is of higher nature, we call it bhakti. For example, Rashtra Bhakti. What is Rashtra Bhakti? In Rashtra Bhakti, you always think, what can I do for my nation? In the process, you will have to lose so many things. As far as the soldiers are concerned, they have to lose their own life for the sake of their nation. Now see, I am losing my everything for the sake of my beloved. Rashtra Bhakti, Guru Bhakti, Matru Bhakti, Pitru Bhakti. See, Ishvara Bhakti, we use the term Bhakti. When does it become Bhakti? When it is of higher nature. What do you mean higher nature? Tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. When tat sukham, when the other is happy, I am happy. This is a love of the higher nature. Matru Bhakti, Pitru Bhakti, you love your father, mother. When they become old, very many times they are not even able to go to the nature's call also. You clean your father, your mother. In the process, you have to take lot of what called medical care, lot of medicine, this and that. Money is gone. Comforts are gone. Sleepless nights. Even then, as far as the body is concerned, there is pain, there is suffering. But as far as the mind is concerned, there is a tremendous amount of satisfaction that I am doing what I am supposed to do. That sense of fulfillment. As far as the worldly angle is concerned, there is only loss. So much of money is gone in medicine and this and that. But still, if there is Matru Bhakti or Pitru Bhakti, you don't consider any of these things. There is a tremendous sense of fulfillment, thinking that my mother, my father is happy, that's all what I want. To great extent, we see this kind of love in a mother-child relationship also. When the child is small, amount of sacrifice which his mother takes, my God, unbelievable. This child again and again it becomes dirty, filthy. This mother cleans with so much of patience and love. How many times she had to get up in the night, this fellow cries in the night. Your sleep gone, but still the mother doesn't complain. She is so happy, isn't it? Amazing it is. Tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam, very clearly you can see. If the child is happy, I am happy, that's all. I don't bother whatever I go through. And this lady does all this, carrying this 2.5, 3 kilo, quite heavy. You have to carry this fellow and then do all the other job. Suppose you are asked to carry a stone, will you do it? But she doesn't consider that way. Carrying the child and doing all the work, it is such a difficult thing, but she never feels it is difficult. Why? Because of that love. Tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. When my beloved is happy, I am happy. The pain which I undergo, I don't care about it at all. This is a sign of superior love. In fact, this is true love. Everything else is selfish love only. The love is the businessman has towards the customer. What kind of love is this? Amazon, their first statement is, treat your customer like a king. Of course, they have made a lot of money because of that. It's a very good policy. But can you say it is a pure love? No. I love my customers because I get money. Pure love is when you are ready to give your everything for the sake of your beloved. Then it's pure. Any relationship, every relationship has a love relationship. Every love can be divinized. Whenever that love becomes pure love, we are divinizing that love. There's a beautiful story. Of course, one story is of the Gopikas also. That I am sure you must be knowing. So one day, Bhagavān wanted to show Nāradji how much Gopikas loved him. So one day Bhagavān was seated, holding his head. Nāradji came and asked, what happened, Bhagavān? I said, splitting headache. Okay, what is the medicine you want? No medicine will work. The only one medicine is, some devotee should give me the dust of his feet. If it is applied, then everything will be fine. Nāradji said, let me go, let me find out. He went to all the devotees, asked them, if you can give a little bit of dust from your feet, Bhagavan's headache will be gone. Everybody said, no, what are you talking? I'll be straight, go to hell only. See, Bhagavan's lotus feet, that dust we can apply on our head. Our feet, dust into Bhagavan's head. Hell is guaranteed. Nobody was willing to give. Finally, Nāradji went to these Gopikas of Vraja. They said, what? Bhagavan is suffering. And that's all what you want. Little dust, take. Sack after sack. That's all. But you will go to hell. I am ready to suffer any amount of hell. But Bhagavan should be happy. See, this is called as tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. I can't stand Bhagavān suffering. I am ready to suffer. I'll let them send me to hell, so no problem. But Bhagavān should not suffer. Nāradaji was stunned. In fact, Nāradaji himself could have given a little less from his feet. Bhagavān wanted to show Nāradaji, there are greater devotees than you. Such wonderful stories these bhaktas write. Very nice. The point is this, tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. I've heard a very beautiful story. It comes in Markandeya Purana. We are talking of this higher love. And any relationship, even this husband-wife relationship, that love also can be divinized. That's what our scriptures say. So here was this lady. Her name was Shaibya. Shaibya. And her husband's name was Kaushika. And this man was such as, morally fallen, characterless man. But this lady, she would serve her husband like God himself. Totally pativrata. And this person then later on, he had this leprosy. There were this wound filled with pus and blood and stinking and all that. Even then she would serve him like anything. Great lady. And in the process, he would scold her, abuse her, beat her. But this lady silently would go through everything and serve her husband like God. Great pativrata. Shaibya. And whatever he has eaten, that with leprous fingers and all, only that food she would consume. As though it is amrita only. Such was her devotional service to her husband. Though that husband was a useless fellow. So one day, that husband was sitting outside, and then he saw one prostitute going, a very famous prostitute in that city. And when he saw her, he was infatuated towards her. Now he was not having enough health because of this leprosy to walk. He went and told his wife, I want to go to her. Wife said, is it so? Fine, I will carry you. And then in the night, she carried him on the shoulder. And then while walking, they had to cross one cremation ground. So they had to cross. And this lady carried him slowly. He was quite hefty also. At that time, Mandavya Rishi was lying on that cremation ground, on the spear. I hope you know the story. Story inside a story. So this Mandavya Rishi, once he was doing tapas, he was sitting meditating. Some thieves came running with loot. And they wanted to hide somewhere because they were being chased by the soldiers of the king. So they immediately kept all the loot inside the hut of this Mandavya Rishi and disappeared. The soldiers came, they saw this Rishi meditating, they went into the hut, they searched and found this. So they concluded, this Rishi only has done it. Information was given to the king. King caught Mandavya Rishi, and without even inquiring further, he was given the punishment. And the punishment was to, to hang that person in that Trishula. Poke him and leave him there. Leave him to death. So this Mandavya Rishi was lying there. Of course, that story goes that this Mandavya Rishi doesn't die. And finally, king was really, 5 days, 6 days over, and this Rishi was alive. So finally he was released. And this Mandavya Rishi goes to Yamaraj and says, why this punishment was given to me? Then Yamaraj said, you used to play when you were small child, you used to play, those small insects and all, used to do this, piercing it with this sharp grass and all. That's why this punishment. Then Mandavya Rishi said, in which age did I do it? I did all these things at the age of 5, 6, etc. At that time, the sense of doership was not there. How can you punish me like this? And finally, Mandavya Rishi curses Yamaraj, and thus he was born as Vidura. Vidura was nothing but Yamaraj, cursed by Mandavya Rishi. Anyway, keep that story aside. So here was this Mandavya Rishi lying on that spear, on that cremation ground. And when this lady was carrying him, Kaushika, his leg touched Mandavya Rishi. And he was in extreme pain. So he said, whoever did this, on that Trishula only he, gave that curse. Whoever touched me with the leg, let him die by tomorrow's sunrise. When the sun rises tomorrow, this person will be dead. He pronounced the curse. This lady Shaibya, she tried her level best, pleaded to this Rishi, please take back this thing. He said no. At that time this Shaibya said, if my love for my husband is true, if I am truly a pativrata, let not the sun rise tomorrow. Such was her devotion that sun didn't rise. And it became a big problem, because if sun doesn't rise, immediately all the devatas rushed to Brahmaji. Brahmaji said, we are helpless. Sun cannot rise. Because if sun rises, then this fellow will die. There is only one way. All of you go to Anasuya. Anasuya. She was another great pativrata, number 1 in the list. All of them ran to Anasuya. Anasuya then went to Shaibya. She explained the consequences of sun not rising, etc. Then she said, with my power of Pativratya Dharma, I will bring him back alive. Let the sun rise. He will die, but I will bring him back alive. And the same thing happened. Sun rose, this person died, and with the power of her purity, Anasuya brings this Kaushika back to life, and with a healthy body also. Now these are all the stories which we have in our scriptures. Why is it given? To show the purity of this love. When a woman lives her love, completely surrendering, considering Pati Seva itself as Paramatma Seva, then that love becomes supreme love. Then that becomes Pati Bhakti. It is not Pati Asakti or something. It is Bhakti only. I don't want anything, but for the sake of my beloved, I am ready to. This is my worship unto God. So this is how our scriptures want us to divinize our relationship, all our love relationships, converting into bhakti, higher level. So now, why did we discuss all this? This love which Gopis had towards Krishna, it was not of the cheap love. It was of this kind of love, the supreme love. Nasti eva tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. Right, so this topic gets over here. Now, the next topic is also very interesting. How is bhakti greater than karma, jnana, yoga, etc.? Now, Arjan Rishi says this bhakti is the highest. How? That we will see tomorrow. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.